Hello and welcome to CheckPoint Logger screencast tutorial. This is part 1, which is dealing with external clocks. Part 2 deals with system clocks, and part 3 will be advanced settings. What is CheckPoint Logger and why should you use it? CheckPoint Logger is a very simple program that allows you to enter times for TSD car rallies. Using it will greatly increase the speed and accuracy of scoring because it puts the data entry in the hands of people who both know what the scores are and are a little bit more familiar with their own handwriting. If you would like to follow along during the screencast, you can download a copy of the software from the link in the description. You will have a different data set than what I'm demonstrating here. For demonstration purposes, I've abbreviated what is available. All right, let's get started. I have a USB stick which contains copies of the software. I'm going to put it in here, and in a few seconds it'll show up on the screen. So you can see we've got a Mac version of the software. If I wanted to run that, I would double click on cplogger.app. Here's the Windows version. To run that, cplogger.exe, you would double click on that. There is this folder called CP logs, and I'll show you what happens there later. And then I've created a specific demo version for the purposes of this tutorial. This is the Mac version. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on cplogger.app, and it will run the software. When the software starts up on a laptop, you will get a helpful reminder message about how the external clock works. Once you've read it, you can go ahead and then click on the OK button to make that go away. Up at the top here, you'll see the navigation line. There's event information. This is normally preloaded by the person doing scoring, so you usually don't have to play with this. There is the external clock. That's what we'll be demonstrating here. And there's a system clock. If you click on quit, it will quit out of the software, but we don't want that. So we're going to go up to CheckPoint external clock, and I'm going to move to the upper right and single click on this drop-down list. I can select any of these checkpoints, single click to select. I'm going to choose CP2C here. It's loaded up checkpoint 2C, checkpoint name, mileage, and car zero time. You cannot edit these. You can and should enter your name in the interworker names, and you can add an optional checkpoint note, which may be useful or may possibly not. Right portion of the screen and press this Populate CP button. It will give you a warning message. If you accidentally press it, you can hit cancel. In this case, we want to do this, so we're going to press the OK button, single click, and that will populate the checkpoint with blank time entries for each car. We can then go in and fill in these car numbers. I'm going to go over next to car 1 and select the MM field, which stands for minutes, of course, and then I can start typing in numbers. I'm going to type in 47, and then it will automatically move on to the next field. And type in 36, and it moves to the tenths of the seconds. Fill in 5, and it moves on to the note field. When you enter the note field, the car information that was previously there disappears, and you can enter in the sort of information you want. Maybe you'll have a note, maybe you won't. In this case, I'm going to fill in something just to demonstrate this. Of course, you would never want to show a competitor this, but there you go. There are a number of ways to enter data. If you just hit a single number and press tab or space or enter, it will move on and assume that there's a 0 in front of it. If you're in the tenths of field, then it will not assume there's a 0. You always want to fill in the tenths of seconds. If you can see, this question mark reminds you of that. The reasoning is, even if the event is not using tenths of seconds, if you ever need to adjust the clock, then you want tenths of seconds, because checkpoint clocks are rarely off by a full second. I'm going to go back and fix this time so it gives you a decent score. And I'm going to skip over car 3 and move to car 4. For some reason, I did not see car 3, and I don't know why in this demonstration. I don't know why. You may or may not have noticed that as I filled in these car numbers, this summary field on the right side of the screen is being updating. So it tells you what cars you've seen, i.e. that you've timed in, the cars that have not been timed in, and it also shows you the cars that you should not expect to see because they have been marked as DNS or DNF in the system. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. At some point on the radio, you hear that car 3 didn't start your section. So you move your cursor and single click on the car number 3. And then you single click on the status on the little drop down menu, and you can select DNS or DNF. Those stand for did not start and did not finish. Those are rather arbitrary designations. As far as the checkpoint worker is concerned, they don't care. The car didn't show up. It's going to assign a 10-minute max, which is one of the settings for the under event info, and add a little note that says the status was DNS or DNF if that's what you chose. Again, doesn't matter. And at this point, we're ready to proceed. I'm going to move the cursor up to this export button here and single click on that. Gives you some information about the format. You usually want to leave that. I am going to, however, unselect the email score option by single clicking on that X. In my demonstration, I'm out in the booties. I don't have a network connection, and it's going to take a few minutes, not a few minutes, a few seconds for the program to figure that out and give you an error message. So I'm just going to move the cursor down and single click on the export checkpoint button. This gives you a helpful message. It figures out that there's a missing time. We'll offer to fix it for you. You could hit cancel and manually put in a time, but if you just single click on the fix button, it will go through and find any missing times and give them a max. Tells you what the file name is that it exported to, cpo2c-mac.xlsx. We'll single click on OK here. You can see that it filled in the max and entered a note that said this happened at export. And now I'll go ahead and quit out of the program by single clicking on the quit and then single clicking on the OK to confirm the quit. If I bring up my Finder, I can go over to the cp-logs folder, and there is cpo2-mac.xlsx. The score can take that file, copy and paste the information into the scoring program, and we're done. This is the end of part 1. I hope it's been useful to you, and you should proceed to watch part 2. Thank you very much.